Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a video. This one is about what do you do if you are overly empathetic, but you don't want to be pushed over. I'll title that better when I write the title. But this idea came across to me today, and I'm not saying I have the answer, but I want to take this video to kind of just talk and have a dialogue, I guess a monologue with myself about it, because I noticed that this was very interesting because my personality is that growing up, I've always been very empathetic, very compassionate, I would say. Like, I care a lot, right? And that would show up as insecurity, right? For the longest time, I thought it was my biggest weakness was how nice I was how much I cared, right? And it turned into insecurity because I cared about how other people saw me to an unhealthy, insecure, self-crippling degree, you know. It's just like the amount of care that I had would turn into this weakness of mine because it would turn into overthinking. It would turn into paralysis. This innate connection that I have with my own heart, I thought was this thing that I had to harden up and to kill and to get rid of. And I want to make this video because I know that there are lots of you guys who are the same as me. We're deep down, you're deeply empathetic, you deeply care. But you've been manipulated, whether by people who bullied you or people who made passing comments throughout your life that told you that your kindness is weakness, that your willingness to care, frankly, is some kind of thing that will be taken advantage of. And how do I phrase this better? The title of this video, let me think for a sec. How to be a person who is innately empathetic and compassionate and caring without being a pushover and being taken advantage of. That's the whole idea of what we're doing here. So I've given the backstory of kind of who I was, right? In a very general sense, personality sense. Nowadays, I grapple with this thing where I notice myself like I behave in ways that my past self would have been too afraid to behave like, because I would be afraid that people would judge me, right? So I played the nice guy. I never wanted to. It was like I wanted to be invisible. You know, I didn't want to draw attention to myself. Like, just let's say this, one of the daily example of how I notice this manifests for me now and how I'm different from before is like when I'm driving, you know, something as simple as like before, let's say I would have plenty of gap that I could, let's say there's a pedestrian coming, right, on the crosswalk and I'm trying to make a right turn, right? Like in the past, I would like, oh, I'm going to stop here, I'm going to let them cross even though they've just barely started getting onto the road, right? And it'll take them another 10 seconds or whatever to cross the path that I would actually turn into, right? Let's say before in the past, I would be like, okay, like I'm going to wait, you know, just to be nice, right? To be considerate, to be caring. Nowadays, I'm like more practical. I'm more impulsive to my own, like if I was like, I don't have to wait. Like, it doesn't matter if I go, right? Even though, yeah, it's etiquette, but it's like, I can just turn and then I won't interfere in his way, right? But then it's like a part of my mind is it's like the past part of me, that empathetic part of me, and this will always be a part of me, I believe, because we cannot reject what is part of us, but we can only learn to integrate it. That part of me is like, you fucking asshole, why did you do that? Like, you should have waited for him. What if he saw you turn in front of him, and what if he got mad? It's like, what an inconsiderate asshole. He should have let me had the right of way, right? And because I'm so compassionate, that's literally what goes on in my head. Like, I'm so empathetic that I'm like in the head of the other person and what they might feel because of what I did, right? The driving example, maybe it sounds super fucking silly, but that's like literally how I think. And like, I'm going like really deep into how I think now. But you know what? Going through years of this personal development and working on myself emotionally and spiritually and developing all this self-awareness, like, it's like, you never really get rid of who you innately are, but you just learn to integrate it. And all of the things that I used to see as weaknesses of me, I now see them as strengths, because all they are is a double-edged sword, right? A knife, you can use it to kill somebody, or you can use it to chop vegetables. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good or bad. It's a tool, right? So with your innate traits. This camera's kind of close. Whatever, you get full action in my face. These qualities, right, that we label good and bad, they're really double-edged swords. And when I recognize that, right, when you recognize that, you start to realize, like, most of the spiritual and the emotional and the self-development journey, a lot of it is acceptance, right? It's like you accept the way you are, but you strive to be better while not rejecting what is going on inside of you. Oh, those are pretty fences. Oh. Right, I hope that makes sense. I kind of go off topic on these videos because, like, me speaking is me practicing my verbal skills. Like, me 5 years ago, oh man. If you asked me to speak in front of a camera, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably lock myself in a room and cry or something. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can never, you hinder yourself from your own growth when you don't let yourself look stupid, right? For the longest time, I thought I looked so stupid. Oh my God. What the fuck? Thank God. I thought I looked so stupid filming myself. Like, I would be ashamed to rewatch the videos that I recorded because I would just judge myself. Like, you speak too slow, you have no passion in your voice, right? We are our own worst critics. We don't need anybody else to criticize us. We already are our own worst critics. But where does that come from? Most likely, it comes from us being told, probably from the accumulation of ever since we were young up until we're getting old, of these passing comments, right? Whether intentionally or unintentionally by people, of ways that we were not good enough, of ways that we should be different, right? And we absorb that, and then it becomes our programming, right? On the other hand, you know, this can make us so hyper self-conscious, right? Because of these all of these ideas and thoughts that aren't even ours planted in our heads, but then it becomes ours because we just take it on, right? Because our identity, we believe who we are, is a direct relationship to what others think of us, right? Of course. So we take on those beliefs. Where am I going with this? And there's two kind of paths we can take. One is we're so unaware of them. We just act out the patterns that we were programmed by the environment to behave like. And it's like nowadays, it's like I just saw someone who I knew from high school 5 years ago. It's like I was just as insecure as them in high school, I would say. But like seeing them now, and I chatted with them, right? It's like they still, and like, no offense, right? I just have to say it to set the example, right? But they haven't changed much. They're still that like that shell of themselves. And I'm saying this from a place of like, I want to see them thrive, you know? But seeing them today, they're still in that place of like, you know, like, I'm not really sure of myself. It's like, hi, like, hey, how are you? Right? I used to be that way. I can only talk about this, but I used to be that way, right? So on the one hand, you can be completely unconscious of it, that's how you behave. And so 5-10 years go by, oh my God, and you still behave that same way. Or on the other hand, you can become so hyper conscious of it, so analytical of your behavior that it's like, you know when they talk about you want to develop self-awareness, right? Fuck, did I fuck up? Took the wrong road. Second path. You can become so hyper self-aware of your flaws, or what you perceive as your flaws, that you're just completely paralyzed. You're thinking about your thoughts. You're having thoughts about thoughts, and you overthink about your overthinking. And that was me for a long time, right? Because like you try to analyze your way out of your head in that sense. It's completely the wrong way to do it. But okay, these signs, man. It's completely the wrong way to do it. But it's like you can't get out of your head. But what I've noticed for me is that picking up things and activities, for me it was weightlifting. Weightlifting was the big thing that could get me out of my head. The more you practice things that get you out of your head and into your body, right? It can be into your body, into your heart, into your soul, anything but your analytical head, right? And I discovered this when I was training in the gym, and I got so like lost in the pain. Right? When you're in your analytical head, you're so in your head of like, oh, this hurts so much. Oh my God, 5, 6 reps. Okay, 7, oh, 3 more. 8, 9, oh, one more. Right? You're so in your head. You're so in your mental faculty of trying to avoid the pain that you're still in your pain. I'm going to call it your pain mind, right? The being, and this is the dis-ease that most of us struggle with in the modern age, that we have no idea we struggle with, is that we're stuck in our minds. But when we practice things like working out, like running, like meditation, right? It could be so many different things. It could be golf, it could be basketball, it could be whatever the fuck, it could be drawing, it could be a coloring book, right? I'm just saying for me what worked. But when you find that and you kind of notice this trend of, oh, when I do this activity, I get out of my head, right? And suddenly, you're not trying to fix yourself. You're not trying to fix the problem, but you're kind of just like, your body and it's like everything is automatic. You know, just like me driving this vehicle right now. I'm fully inside the conversation with you, and only in a few moments of time my attention, my conscious awareness goes back to driving the car when I realize I've fucked up in the direction I'm going, or the fucking traffic is way too slow ahead of me and I'm getting pissed. Right? Again, like I said in the beginning, like I don't have an outcome that I don't have an outcome that I came into this video wanting to come out with. But if anything, I just want to leave it at this, because I want this video to reach people who are exactly like me, who kind of, have that empathetic tendency, right? Have the kindness within yourself, but you've found that in your life you've been pushed over, you've been taken advantage of, and inside you feel weak, you feel like you got to become strong, right? But I'm telling you, it's not about becoming this macho, like, oh, nothing, I don't care about anything, nothing bothers me, but it's about integrating that part of you. Try to park here. It's about integrating that part of you, right? That's how you come to loving yourself. And if you can't love yourself, you'll never love your life. Loving yourself is a precursor to loving your life. And everything will come afterwards. Right? So if you're kind of like, in a bit of a mental gymnastics loop, and this is like something that you resonate with, then stick around, If it resonated with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the fucking bros. I don't have a name for us yet, but I should probably come up with one, just because people love to be a part of a movement, right? Okay, I'll finally leave it at that. I've been rambling. Oh, only 18 minutes. Feels like I've been rambling for like 35 minutes. Yeah. But it's like when you let yourself get passionate about something, you realize you get out of your head and it just flows. Okay, I'm done.